With us, okay. How are you, Peter? I guess Dave called him Headroom Basil, as I recall. And Bailey over here in camera 3. Bailey was with us back in the old days. And the way that we won them over, we used to have a little liquor closet.
I heard about this.
Yeah, we used to have booze. You know, guests would come in, they'd be a little bit nervous, you know, and they'd like maybe a drink of this or a drink of that. And afterwards, I always felt that the crew might enjoy a little taste, so I would act as bartender.
You would set up a little bar.
Oh, it was all set up when we got here. We didn't have, it was all set to go. I'll tell you what happened one night. Cliff Robertson was coming on the show, and he wanted to come in the night before, and he wanted to go over whatever it was we were going to talk about. He was involved with that thing with David Beagleman, where the Beagleman was signing checks.
The big scandal.
The scandal, Hollywood Gate. So Cliff came in and he said, geez, he said, you know, he says, can I have a drink? I said, of course you can. And I said, what would you like? And he said, I'd like a scotch. I said to my associate, I said, Kay, would you get Mr. Robertson a scotch? She came back and she said, Tom, we're out of scotch. Now, I don't drink scotch. I don't think I've had a drop of scotch in 30 years. So we went down, got another bottle of scotch, gave Cliff a drink, and did our business. He went home. Come in the next day, and like the scotch bottle is that much empty, and the next day it's that much empty. It's getting, and we did a little research. And we found out that the guy who worked cleaning the west side of the building was friends with the gal who cleaned the east side of the building. They would meet in my office at 11:30 every night and watch the Johnny Carson show and have a scotch on the rocks.
Guzzle scotch.
Yep.
Okay.
And I said to Kay, Kay, I don't ever want that bottle to be empty. You know, when I sit down to watch the Johnny Carson show, I have a drink. Why shouldn't they? So for all the years we were here, they enjoyed themselves, and I guess Dave kept that up too. And if you keep, you know, so the cleaning crew has asked me, for God's sake, Conan, would you stock the bar?
I see. I put Yoo-hoo everywhere throughout the building. I thought that's what people drank. Very naive of me. I'm sorry. No, we'll try and get that tradition going again. Do you have? I know you think about all the hours of broadcasting that you do. I mean, this show. I've been doing this show now for over a year, and we've done like close to 300 hours of broadcasting.
Sure.
And over that time, so many things happened, and you did so many shows. Were there must have been like these great mistakes that just got out over the years.
Well, I mean, I've made some horrible mistakes. When I reported the news, I killed people in fires that are alive and well today, you know, and to this very day, I plug people's shows. I move entire network schedules around every night. But I was interviewing in this very room one of the superstars of the 70s who is enjoying a great resurgence, and I speak of Meatloaf, the singer.
Yeah, Meatloaf is back.
Easy now, easy. Easy.
The crowd got the liquor tonight, as I mentioned. So, that's okay.
So I come on, and for the first 15 minutes I say, and Meatball, tell me about this, and Meatball tell me...
No.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You called him Meatball the whole time?
I'm calling him Meatball, and every time I call him Meatball...
Oh, boy, you know...
Every time I call him...
We do that here on purpose.
And he'd just kind of snicker, and I couldn't figure out why this guy was snickering. So finally in the break, the producer came out, and she says, Tom, the guy's name is Meatloaf. I'm so sorry.
Oh, man.
One night we didn't get on here. We didn't get on till like 1:20. We had a 1 o'clock start back in the 70s. And Gerald Ford was president then, and he made a speech about something, and he delayed the start of our show till 1:20 in the morning. So the next day, we got about 150 or 200 calls of complaint at the switchboard at the office. So I came on that night, and I, looked at the camera. I said, folks, I understand that you would call to complain because the program did not start at the appropriate time. But I said, we don't decide that. The White House decides that. So don't call us to complain. Call the White House to complain. And the number is 202, and I gave the number right into the camera. Now at 1:15 in the morning, the phone rang at my house. It was John Rohrbeck, the general manager of WRC in Washington. He says, what's going on down there? I said, what? He says, you took out half the 202 dialing code. They've had 138,000 calls at the White House to complain. He says, what are you doing to us down there? He says, we're never going to get any more interviews from the news department. People were very, very upset. So I don't do that anymore.
You've learned. Don't do that. Don't give out these numbers.
No.
Let me, we're running low on time, but I wanted to ask you, you always, you start the CNBC show with the Welcome to the Color Cast.
The Color Cast.
Welcome to the Color Cast, and it's got this nice old homey tone to it. Where'd you get that?
I got it from here. NBC used to put out broadsides, pieces of paper that would list the upcoming guests of The Tonight Show, The Tomorrow Show, The Today Show, whatever. And these programs were all identified as being color cast on the NBC television network. And this goes way back to when most of television was in black and white, and just a few selections, such as the Dinah Shore Show for NBC and a couple of others, were in color. So NBC made great promotional excitement about a program being a color cast.
They made a big deal of it.
It was a big deal. It wasn't telecast, it was color cast.
See, we try and make a big deal of it here. Every night I'm saying, this show is in color, ladies and gentlemen. Color brought to you...
Do you know, one night we did 2 segments, and probably the crew recalls this. We did a couple of segments in black and white and fed it down the line of the stations, and the engineers all thought there was something wrong with the equipment. You know, they called and said, don't do it in black and white anymore. They went crazy. So whether we can call it the color cast at CBS is probably going to be open to question.
Intellectual property.
Yes. You know.
That whole thing is going to come back again.
Hey, listen, give the lawyers something to do. You know,
Yeah, right.
they've had a quiet year.
Yeah, I really feel bad for lawyers everywhere. Tom, thanks very much, and listen, best of luck.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, Tom.
Come back anytime.
Thank you. I will.
CNBC. Tom Show is every night at 10, and the Late Late Show is going to be starting in a couple of months on CBS.
Yes, sir.
At 12:30. It's a crazy time slot. You're going to love it.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Okay, Tom.
Tom Snyder, everybody. We'll be right back.